So it is important that we always make the same insertion movements and also have the same insertion points in the prone position. Here, Max is showing how he inserts the butt plate cleanly into the shoulder. He also checks again that it is in the right place. A lot of this also happens through feedback via the inner position, for example, via the feeling in the shoulder. Another point is the grip strength with the right hand and the position of the left hand, which is relaxed or as relaxed as possible, insofar as this is possible at all. It has a lot of pressure on it, of course, but no active muscle tension, and is carried by the strap and held forwards by the hand stop. The head is placed on the cheek piece from above with its own weight, so that it can look through the center of the sight. The head is also laid down without pressure in all positions, but simply by the weight of the head, which is heavy enough for this, and fixes the rifle again from above. So we have the rifle at several points, here right shoulder, grip, cheek piece, and left hand in the hand stop. We have thus established the contact points. This is important every time we go into the shooting position, and we need to do it evenly again. And then we can use these points to optimize our shot preparation from shot to shot. When preparing for the shot, it's also about checking, have I put my head down correctly? Have I not slipped too far forward or back, which is important for aiming later on? If the head is well positioned, relaxation is established, left arm, left shoulder, right shoulder, and the grip strength has regained its usual strength. Max simply breathes in and out loosely. The muzzle lowers and rises. For example, when inhaling, the muzzle goes down. When exhaling, the muzzle goes up, which we can also see here on the SCAT image on the laptop. We have simply connected the SCAT, and we already calibrated and adjusted it so that we can now see the breathing lines and the aiming. In the shot preparation, Max, maybe you could describe what you do from shot to shot.
I always breathe twice for each shot, which has the advantage that I can get through the program quite quickly and save energy. That works for me when the position is set up well, that I don't need a third breath, which is possible if you need one. In any case, it is important to let the left arm and the left shoulder completely relaxed. The grip hand sits cleanly on the handle, and the feeling of the butt plate is again very important, that it is always the same and always fits from shot to shot. What is also important for me during the shot, I prefer short aiming times, so that the shot is where I expect.
Well, as Max has already said, in addition to the shot preparation, for example, taking the position and correct head placement, we then continue with breathing here in prone shooting for advanced athletes who are already very confident, also in the positioning of the right elbow. As we explained earlier or in the last video, that the right elbow has to be repositioned again and again, especially when I'm shooting a rifle where I can't leave the rifle in my shoulder when loading, but have to go out again and again. After this point of insertion, the correct positioning of the right elbow is important, to use my breathing to check whether my 0 point is still correct. This is why the 3-breath variation is particularly recommended for beginners. The first breath, which is taken purposefully, is a simple check, and when I exhale, I cleanly end in the middle of the target. This should be done from below, as you can see in the SCUD picture, from 6 o'clock, and should not go above the 10. Of course, the first breath is now there to check whether I've got my position, whether it is set up correct again. If I notice that I have lateral deviations or that I breathe above this, I take the second breath. I then simply make small corrections with my right elbow. Sometimes that's enough with just a little bit of jerking in the right direction, as described in the last video, inside the jacket if there are only slight deviations. In the case of really large deviations, I should actually dissolve the position and set it up again to avoid too much correction tension. It is also possible to correct fine deviations, especially left to right. It is also possible to simply move over the left hand in the right direction. This should also be practiced more often, so that it works without any problems during the competition. The last breath with 3 breaths is a little shallower and should only go to about the lower edge of the black, for example, into the 4-5 range, not much deeper. Breathe shallowly, again simply to create some calm, then land cleanly in the 10 on the exhale. Max can now once again consciously show us 2 breaths, and then he will also show us the 3 breaths. The first exhalation was already very precise. He has arrived in the 10. The second breath also lands directly in the 10 and is then released after the short target time described. Now with 3 breaths, please, Max. Perhaps you could use the example again if you haven't placed your right elbow cleanly, if you've simply placed it a little too far forward. For example, you come up to the left of it, which is then to be executed. Deliberately wrong is difficult for Max.